His Excellency, the Honorable Minister for Environment, our boss and our leader, His Excellencies, the ambassadors and head of diplomatic corps, our dear commissioners from the 23 participating states, Honorable Minister, sir, permit me to stand on the already established protocol by the MC. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are once welcome. The Nigerian Climate Change Adaptation, Erosion and Watershed Management Project. It is a project that is being funded by the European Investment Bank. As you have heard from our esteemed guests that have made a goodwill presentation here, the project is Nigerian Climate Adaptation, Erosion and Watershed Management Project, which is built on the successes being recorded by the World Bank funded NEWMAP. This initiative was led by the federal government of Nigeria in collaboration with the subnational government in order to find a lasting solution to the issues of climate change as it develops our environment. This issue is to be addressed includes among issues of advanced gully erosion, flood challenges, and other forms of land degradation across the country. Next slide. This approach has a holistic approach being designed in order to implement this project. One of it is the erosion mitigation. And this project wants to ensure that more attention is focused on mitigation, whereby we'll be able to nip these flood issues or the issues of land degradation at the initial stage and to ensure that we handle it and stop it from further expansion. While in areas where the erosion has become manifested and is aggravated, we bring a lasting solution to this form of gully erosion. It has to be implemented using the environmental resuscitation approach aimed to restore the environment and to develop Nigerian resilience towards the changing climate. It is a project that is going to be implemented with rigorous community engagement. It is a project that is going to be coming with empowerment of the devastated communities. This project will strengthen the resilience of Nigerian climate, it will support livelihood, and it will promote sustainable development. Next slide. This project has an institutional arrangement that has been established by the government and the financier of this project. The project is being overseen at the highest level by the Federal Minister of Environment, who is the chairman of the steering committee, having representation from permanent secretaries of federal ministries and MDAs, of line ministries and MDAs, and also from other membership of government. It is also overseen on the technical committee level by the permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Environment, who is the chairman of the technical committee, and also has representatives at Director General's level, and then membership from MDAs, line MDAs. It is also going to oversee by the Federal Project Management Unit under the coordination of the National Project Coordinator, which equally has support and technical advice from pool of expert advisors. In this case, as you have heard from the UNOPS representative, we will be working with UNOPS in order to continue providing us the guidance with regards to implementation as we progress. it is also being anchored on the fact that for each state level, there is this replication of what is being replicated at the national level. You also have the same layer of replication at the subnational level, whereby the driving force in terms of implementation is taking place. This is not done without the support of the state project management unit. Just like we had at the national level, we also have the equal representation at the state level. One thing that is important here, the project is also bringing innovation, technology, knowledge, whereby the Nigerian people that will be participating on this project should be able to adapt and upscale going further. And therefore, we have technical committee membership, which is chaired by the permanent secretary in the ministries of environment at the various levels. The local government is also central in this implementation because those sites mostly are either in the rural area or in the local government. It is envisaged that there should be a strong collaboration with the state level, even at the lowest level, so that at the end of it, capacity will be built so that the local government, particularly represented by the technical officers from the local government level, will be continuing to carry out similar activities that regards to mitigation and maintenance of this infrastructure that government has spent a lot of money on it. Most importantly, we are having at the lowest level the community. This community are critical. This community are important because they are the people that are mostly affected at the lowest level. So there is going to be rigorous community engagement, and this will be driven by a focal NGO at each of the states, whereby there is going to be an umbrella NGO at the national level that will be providing coordination and providing support to the subnational level. Next slide. Like has been earlier said by the European Investment Bank, this is the project which has an agreement signed in 2020 and declared technically effective in 2023 with the total sum of 175 million euro. And this project is expected to be matched by government with counterpart fund contribution in the total sum of 55 million euro. Next slide. The project development objective is to revise or reduce vulnerability to erosion in targeted sub-watershed, and the duration of the project is 5 years. The components, as we have heard from finance, because you know this is a project that is an offshoot from the European World Bank funded project. As at the midterm review of this project, government of Nigeria found out that there is a gap in terms of funding, and the bank was approached in order to provide upscaling. And what the bank could provide that time, the World Bank, was about 400 million. And the ambitious target of government of Nigeria was in the tune of 1.5 billion. And they now said, okay, for us, we will not be able to provide all this gap. And that was why the European Bank was approached. And they now provided the 175 million euro. And considering that this project would have been a blended facility that would have been implemented alongside the World Bank project. But because of some institutional challenge, this couldn't go further. And this is a situation whereby we now find ourselves, European Bank now standing alone. During the technical mission that has to carry out assessment in order to find out whether what we are going to do on our own, what is it looking like? Does the resources available can be able to match the situation on ground? And they come to the reality of terms that this amount, these resources provided, is not going to be sufficient. And therefore, in their own wisdom and the government of Nigeria, the component of the project was restructured to two components, which is now clearly going to be component 1 and component 2, with the hope going forward, the other components could be brought on board. But critically now, we are addressing this project with two components, which has to do with erosion and watershed management infrastructure investment, which is the key issue. And this is to be implemented with two outward positions in mind to stabilize the erosion site. And these are activities that will come up to ensure that erosion sites are proactively addressed from the emerging point, like I earlier said, whereby it has exacerbated, it will be treated holistically. And like I earlier said again, it is going to be matched with robust community engagement. The reasons are obvious. If the community do not have a buy-in, if the community does not take ownership, there will be no room for sustainability, and therefore government investment will be a wasted one. So the community are going to be robustly engaged, and the livelihood initiative activities that will be coming with the project, the community will be able to benefit from it. And this is the structure that we are approaching the implementation of the investment in terms of the infrastructure. The other component is component 2, which has to do with the project management. And that is why at the national level, you have the Federal Project Management Unit, well seated in the Federal Ministry of Environment under the supervision of the Minister of Environment. And this component is to provide the necessary requirement in terms of technical capacity, in terms of project operational running costs, and in terms of support in strengthening institutions and line MDAs that will be participating on this project, whereby capacity building will come in for the purpose of deposition of knowledge, and also equipment and tools that those officers that are within those MDAs could be required in order to continue running government investment and business going forward. Next slide. This is the project cycle. The project cycle will start with need assessment and site identification. It's very, very important, and it's very, very clear. We need to identify those sites, and that is why we have taken all this time while we are waiting for this very important date to come, to make sure that we visited all the states so that we'll be able to identify not only the states having the required staff, not only the states having the required facilities in terms of offices and counterpart funds, but is there sites that government have put forward in order to attract funding from the European Bank? And this site, do they meet the condition criteria for the site selection? This will be coming up with engagement and consultation with regard to providing designs, with regards to engaging consultants that will be carrying out some level of support in order to drive the project implementation. We have the area of participation and investment that will allow project implementation. We have the procurement processes that will lead to procurement of these projects. Very importantly, and highly recommended by the European Bank, is the disclosure of the environmental safeguard instrument. There is no any project site that is going to be intervened without providing the required instrument with regard to safeguard. And this must be clear, certified by the authority or representation of the government of Nigeria, which is the Environmental Assessment Department of the Federal Ministry of Environment. And this will be done in line and intended with the European Bank standard and guideline. What is also important is the issue of the resettlement action plan. This European Bank considers it very important. There will be no intervention on site whereby there are issues of grievances with regards to resettlement. This has to be done 100%, and it has to be verified by an audit report, an independent auditor to confirm that the resettlement action plan has been completed. That is only when contractors that have been engaged can now move to site. It will be followed with rigorous monitoring and evaluation to ascertain the progress vis-a-vis of the site, vis-a-vis the financial achievement and milestone. And naturally, project will always come to assess whether where we are doing the right thing, where we are there gaps, where we are there challenges. That is the midterm review. And then the issue of operation and maintenance will follow in commissioning of site and then audits of the progress that has been going on site. Very much importantly and very critical, a project can never close without a project closure report. And this has two reports, the borrower's completion report and the implementation completion report, which is done by the government, and the borrowers is done by the financier of the project. Next slide. Like I earlier said, government, both at the national and the subnational, are expected to provide the matching grant in order to supplement what has been provided. And you can see from the slide here, the government of Nigeria, both at the national level and the subnational, have demonstrated the highest political will in ensuring that counterpart funds are being made available to this project. And where you see that the amount is low, they already have an approved budget that has created a budgetary line in their state budget. And the government, during our visit to the state, have assured us as soon as implementation commences, each state are ready to put in more money, and some states have equally made provision for up to 1.5 billion, even in their budget. Next slide. EIB does not allow this project to work in silos. There are some critical conditions. And what are these conditions? The project to be implemented, is it going to benefit the people that this project is going to be implemented within their neighborhood? Does it improve on their socio-economic well-being? You have heard from the European Bank, you have heard from the European Union that the project will be coming up with livelihood support. And the idea is very, very clear. Without bringing in the community, there will be no sustainability. Environmental safeguard is very clear. Until clearance is being provided by the relevant government agency, no site will be procured. Resettlement action plan, like I earlier said, must be implemented 100% before any site can be boarded and a contractor is allowed to move in. Next slide. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this presentation will take us to some video clip for us to see whether there is the capacity, whether the issues that are there facing us is real. And the question will be, are we having the right state of mind to carry out this project? Is the capacity there? Has government demonstrated commitment? Are the issues real? I now take you to the video because there's a picture speak for itself. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to this video.